This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Best-selling author, Ramsey personality, and podcast host, Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today as we take your questions about your relationships, your mental wellness, your job, your career, your money, your life. It all shows up right here, and we'll talk about you, baby, right in front of you. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. Thank you for jumping in. John Deloney has a book coming out Tuesday. The clock is ticking. It's
almost
here. It's kind of like having a baby. It never gets here, and then all of a sudden it's here.
I used that analogy with my wife the other day.
And it wasn't good, no.
You should never, ever use that analogy ever
again. Yeah. Well, I'm a grandpa, so I can get away with it.
We could say it, just me and you and a couple of our buddies.
Nobody tell anybody we said that, okay? So,
that's right.
But
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, next week is book launch week. It will land on Tuesday. If you haven't gotten your copy of, or ordered your copy, pre-ordered your copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future, you should. It is a book that will bring healing. It's a book that will bring laughter. It is a book that will help you get your head around things you haven't even thought about maybe before. And it's certainly not for people who are mentally ill, although it'll probably help. But it's more for like the rest of us, that we all need a framework to process the crap that happens to us and the good things that happens to us. And this is a great framework. That's really what it comes down to. Own Your Past, Change Your Future. He'll be in Phoenix on Thursday, April 21st, signing books. That would be a week from today. Yep, 1 week from today at 6 p.m. The Desert Ridge Marketplace. Oh, that's a good store. I've done signings there. And Dallas and Barnes & Noble Prestonwood Town Center. Again, a good store, and that would be the following Wednesday. He'll be doing lots of media and appearances all across the nation. That's the two book signings we're launching right now, letting you know about them. So it is book launch week next week, and if you want the best deal on the book, you get it before Tuesday because you get 1 month of weekly therapy sessions with our friends at BetterHelp, and you get the audiobook and the ebook, all for the $20 of buying the book, which is an unbelievable deal. So check it all out at RamseySolutions.com. I'm just going to start this hour with that because it's really important. It's all top of mind for us around Ramsey right now. We're real proud of John, real proud of this book, and real proud of all of you that have bought it and are going to benefit from it like I have when I read it. All right, Casey is with us in Birmingham. Casey, what's your question?
Hey, I just have a whole life policy that I've had for about 6 years,
I'm
and
sorry.
I know I'm not supposed to. I know. So I'm trying to figure out, do I keep that now that I've been in it for 6 years, or do I go ahead and get rid of that and and lose whatever money I've kind of put in?
If you have a hole in your pocket, you don't keep it. You sew it up.
Okay.
Because the money keeps going through the pocket hole and keeps getting lost. Even though you love that pair of jeans, you still sew up the hole in your pocket. No, we're going to get term life insurance in place, 10 to 12 times your income to cover your needs or your family's needs if they miss out on your income because you're not here. Then once you have that in place, then you drop whole life. Whole life insurance is the payday lender of the middle class. It is 20 times more expensive than term in order to build up a cash value that you never get. Because when you die, they keep the cash and they only pay the face amount. And so It's a horrible place to park money. It's a bad product. No one recommends it in the financial world anywhere except people that sell it.
Right.
There's your hint.
What about... Okay. What about, is there any thought to the process of using that to help with paying for kids' college or anything like that?
Okay. Well, if you want to save money at 1% to save for your kids' college, which is going up at 7.2% a year average, you're not going to catch up.
Okay. What do I do with that cash value? So I will get a cash value out of that. What do I do with that money so that I don't have taxes on that?
You shouldn't have any taxes on it. It'd be very unusual if you do. Your basis in a whole life policy for tax calculation is the total of all the premiums you paid in. You probably won't even get that back. And if you get any more than that back, it's very unusual for you to. But if you get any more than in 6 years, I mean, almost guarantee you won't get that back. But you might. If you get a little bit more back, it's going to be taxed at ordinary income. It's not an investment. It's a bad product, so you're going to be taxed at ordinary income on the gain if there is any. But very doubtful you'll have that. I'd say 98% of the time you don't. So anyway, what do you do with it? Anytime you have found money, you put it on the baby steps.
When the government looks at a sale of something and they say, you know what, guys, we're not even going to take that money. That's how you know it's a bad product. When the IRS is like, you know what, y'all made a pretty poor decision. I'm going to let you keep this money. Even we feel bad for you that you have a whole life policy.
Summer's with us. Summer's in Houston, Texas. Hi, Summer.
Hi, it's an honor to speak with y'all.
You too. What's up?
So my question is, I'm currently 21, but I'm already on baby step 4, about to graduate. And I guess my question is, how should my next financial steps change since I'm not planning on having kids yet or buying a house?
Wow. What are you graduating in?
I'll be an accountant, a CPA.
Good for you. Wow. And you're graduating with no debt.
Correct. We paid cash, both my parents and I.
Okay, so you've been working and getting scholarships, and they had some money to chip in.
Yes.
Wow, way to go, man. That's amazing. You're a stud.
So when you say you're worried about making mistakes, what are you worried about falling into?
I feel like I'm already ahead of where I need to be in life financially. Like I have, extra money that I don't know what to do with. And I feel like it should be invested, but I should give some of it. And I've been doing both, but I still feel like there's more I could be doing or extra money that I'm just kind of sitting on.
Yeah. Well, I would be putting 15% away once you graduate into retirement as at baby step 4, like you said you were. And above that, I might start doing some long-term investing, maybe like an S&P 500 fund, to park some money for a house later. You're not in a hurry to buy a house today. You're not, worried about kids today. So we're just living and we got a big pile of money. So let's just pile it over there in that S&P 500, and you can do anything you want to do with it later. But it'd make put you in a wonderful position, maybe even to pay cash for a house, because you're way ahead of normal, but you're right really where you should be. If everybody did what you did, we'd have a completely different economy. Because we wouldn't have $1.7 trillion in student loan debt, and that's draining and sucking the blood out of the economy. So you're incredible. You've done a great job. Congratulations. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Hey guys, we're back on the road. If you want to be in an energy-packed, jam-packed arena filled with real humans to experience what it means to live life to the fullest, we want to have you check this out. Picture all your favorite speakers on one stage. The Smart Conference is back. We've been 3 years. Oh, thank you. We're back on the road. I'm so happy. Dallas, October 22nd, all day long. If you come to the Smart Conference, at the end of the day, I promise you'll be smarter. We're going to be talking about mental health. We'll talk about your career. We'll talk about your money. We'll talk about millionaires. We'll talk about leadership. We'll talk about everything. So, Dr. John Deloney, Rachel Cruz, Ken Coleman, all of the Ramsey's team, and Craig and Amy Groeschel will be speaking on marriage. Tickets are only $39 for the entire day, and this is going to be a blast. It is not yet sold out, but it will early. As you know, all concerts and sporting events and everything post-pandemic are selling out very, very quickly. People like to be around people, it turns out. Who knew? So check it out. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events. October 22nd is a Smart Conference. Our question of the day is from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time, and you'll save even more. Always use the promo code Ramsey. It's magic. It'll give you money off.
Today's question comes from Eric in Iowa. Eric writes, my girlfriend and I are 26 and have been dating for about a year, and we both have similar amounts of student loan debt. I really want to pay off my student loans within the next couple of years because all of the stress that it causes me. My girlfriend wants to live it up while we're young and ignore her student loans for as long as possible. I feel guilty when we spend money on entertainment and vacations because it's postponing our journey to becoming debt-free. Whenever I bring up my concerns about our spending habits, she becomes dismissive. I'm worried that she views paying off student loans as an insurmountable challenge. How can I convince her to take action with me? If I can't, is this a lost cause? Dave, this doesn't sound like it's about debt. This sounds like about somebody who loves somebody, and he keeps trying to say, hey, this is an important value for me in the continuation of our relationship. And the person he loves is saying, it's not for me, and we're going to move on. And that's hard. That's real hard.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a heartbreak here.
Yep.
Either sooner or later.
Yeah.
Or she's going to suddenly grow up, one of the two, because she's being a child. So, Eric, here's the problem. The #1 cause of divorce in North America today, the #1 thing people fight about is money and money problems. And so when you are not in agreement, not in alignment on the #1 problem in marriage, that's like a flare going off. Warning, 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 warning. You're about to screw up. That's what that's saying, right? I mean, if like the #1 way that your car blows up is when this one light comes on.
And it comes on?
And it comes on.
You pull over quick.
You're about to blow your freaking car up. I mean,
Pull over.
you're not the exception to this, okay? So that's what's going on. That's where you are. And so regardless of her motivation, her reason, her lack of hope, or she's just a princess or whatever it is, she's not in alignment with you. And you guys you're using a lot of we language with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, there's not a we when it's a girlfriend. There's a we date, but we don't have a budget because there's not a we. You're not married. Yep. When you're married, it's a we. Yeah. But until you're married, it's not a we. And even when it's a fiance, it's not a we. It's a future we, but it's not a we. And right now, this is just a girlfriend. You said that 3 times, by the way.
Yeah, and I had a buddy who talked to me. He gave me this phrase when it came to eating right and exercising. And he said, man, being 100 pounds overweight is really hard. It's exhausting. Your knees hurt, your back hurts. It's hard. And exercising and losing 100 pounds is really hard. So the goal here isn't avoidance of hard. The goal is what hard are you going to choose?
And by not choosing a hard, you automatically choose
something hard. That's right. So it's not avoiding the discomfort. So I'll use that same phrase with Eric. Being with somebody that you love who constantly dismisses a value you have, you constantly feel guilt, even when you're having fun and doing joyful things together, is going to be really hard. It's a hard way to live. And having a conversation with somebody you love saying, I'm scared about debt. I don't want to enter into a marriage with you and still have this stuff. Can we start now? Is going to be a hard conversation. Pick your heart. Either way, moving forward, you're going to have a hard conversation. It's better to have it on the front end and be honest and be direct and then move on.
Well, I'm afraid we'll break up. Well, you're going to break up, Dave.
You're going to break up.
It's just a matter of whether it's after you're married and $200,000 in debt, or whether before you're married and you don't have her debt yet.
I tell addicts, you're going to get a group. You get to choose one, or the court will order you into one. You get to pick. You're going to break up, yes. Does a lawyer going to take your money or not?
Yeah,
right? Have the conversation.
How much pain and children are going to be involved? That's the only question. So, this is not the thing. So, but she could say, okay, it's a big a deal to you, and maybe I need to look at this.
And let's turn around on Eric. Don't come to her and say, hey, we got to get this debt paid off. Come to her and say,
there's not a we, by the way.
I'm scared.
I'm paying off my debt, and for us to go forward, we've got to be in alignment. You can't break, so
I'm not going to go on vacations.
Having debt is not a reason to break up.
No.
Not being in alignment on money and how it's going to be handled, and children and how they're going to be handled, and if we're going to have them, and in-laws that are crazy and how we're going to deal with them, and religion. These are the four things. Right. The four horsemen that will destroy your marriage. In-laws, extended family. How we're going to deal with the crazy extended family, because there's one in every pile. I'm just telling you. And how, are we going to have kids, and are the inmates going to run the asylum, or are the kids going to behave? All this kind of stuff. Money, how are we going to handle that? Are we going to save? Are we going to live within our means? Are we going to stay out of debt? Are we just going to go YOLO? Thank God it's Friday. I'm a child, and which is what she's doing. And we're going to have, I believe in God, and I think you're an idiot for believing in God. These are our two religions.
Yep.
This is not going to work either. So it's very, very difficult. Those are the four most likely things, value system things, heavy discussions that enter into the put poison in the DNA of a marriage.
Yeah, and I think beneath that is, how are we going to, if you tell me one of your values and I don't believe it's a value of mine, how am I going to respond? Am I going to ignore you? Am I going to blow you off? Am I going to say, I'll hold your hand and go deeper down that? Let's go talk to somebody. Let's get some more information. Let's go meet with experts. How are we going to approach those crossroads when we have them is also, I think, it's important, man. And this just complete dismissal, it's danger, Will Robinson. Get out.
We're going to have toxic conflict. We're going to have healthy conflict, or we're going to have no conflict, which is also toxic conflict.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Except that one's just more insidious because it poisons everyone around you. Yeah. When a spouse and a husband are yelling at each other, everybody knows, stay away. When they're just burning that no conflict,
you can feel it in the air. Everyone's shoulders are tight. Oof. Just walk in the room and everybody's on eggshells. Yeah. So all of that to say, Eric, if you were my son, I would say, hey, time to have a, what do they call it? DTR.
DTR. I learned about that too.
Define the relationship. Back when my kids were teenagers, 25 years ago, 20 years ago. It's time to define the relationship. And are we just dating? In which case you get to do whatever stupid butt stuff you want to do with your personal life. We're just dating. But if we're moving towards something more serious than dating, which is the way this is worded, a requirement of that is, A, you're not going to be dismissive of things that are important to me. This matters to me. I'm scared about this. And B, I'm not going to be dismissive of you on things that are important to you. Right. And C, we've got to be in alignment on the big things.
Yep. I love
the little things we can work around, but the big things, can't work around those. Can't work around those.
Luckily, they got me and you, and we're perfect husbands. And
our advice is always right.
100%. Eric,
it was free.
These are two guys who have tripped and fallen a few times.
Yeah.
We've got the scars and bruises to prove it.
I've answered this question by somebody who's been married 10 years, and I've answered this question from before they ever get married. It's a lot easier before you get married. Whew. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author of the brand new book that comes out Tuesday. Own Your Past, Change Your Future, a not-so-complicated approach to relationships, mental health, and wellness. You can pre-order your copy along with a whole bunch of goodies if you pre-order it before Tuesday at RamseySolutions.com. Tyler and Jenny are with us on the debt-free stage right here in the studio. What's up, guys? How are you?
We are
Good.
excellent.
Cool. So where do you guys live?
Greencastle, Pennsylvania.
Okay. What's that near?
It's about 12 hours in a van with 3 kids from here.
It's near nothing. Okay, cool. Welcome. Good to have you guys. How much have you paid off?
About $102,000.
Wow. And how long did that take?
26 months.
26 months. And your range of income during that time?
120 to 140.
120 to 140.
You guys got after it.
Now, if you put that many kids in a van, don't you double the number of hours effectively? It's like dog years?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, except dog years are 7 times, right?
Right.
But yeah, but it's not quite 7 with that many kids in a van, but it's at least double. And 5 hours is at least like 10. Are we there yet? And I've got to pee, right?
You got it.
Oh, my gosh. So what kind of debt was the $102,000?
It was
A
our
mortgage.
Oh,
Yes.
Look at that weird people.
Yes.
I love it. What's this house worth?
I'd say about 270.
How old are you two?
I'm 38.
I'm going to be 40 this month.
All right.
And you're the kings of Greencastle.
That's right.
No question. And man, you're so weird. With a
love it.
paid-for house, rocking it. I love it. Very, very cool. So what happened to you guys 26 months ago? Tell us this story.
Yeah, well, probably a couple of years before that is really where it started for us. We just had this time where month after month after month, we were spending more than we were making. And it was so frustrating because we had worked really, really hard early in our marriage to pay off student loans, and we didn't have most debt, and to not being able to live off what we were making was so frustrating. And I remember having conversations together where I felt like this was my fault. I'm the financial guy, right? This is my responsibility.
What do you do for a living?
I work in IT.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you?
I was a stay-at-home mom for several years, and when we decided that this was going to be it, I went back to work. I groomed dogs, and I taught art lessons at a local ceramics studio.
Wow. Good for you. Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, like I said, it just reached this breaking point, and Jenny was really encouraging. She said, this is not your fault. We're in it together. And she said, I think we have a book downstairs. Maybe we could read it. And I knew exactly which book she was talking about. The problem was I had taken it and given it away 10 years ago because I definitely did not need to read anything that you guys, had to say.
Sure.
So, hindsight. So, but we remembered the name and we started looking it up.
This is how I sell 2 books to everyone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually, he went downstairs and grabbed Harry Potter 1, and he's like, "Are we going to read this?" And she was like, "That's not the book."
Yeah, but we found your content and we started really absorbing it and just crushing it, and that's when we came up with really our first budget in our entire marriage, and we learned how to track it. I mean,
Wow.
that was key for us. I mean, and again, hindsight. That's so obvious, measure what you want to get results in. So we came up with a budget, and things were going really, really well for us. And then we went through Financial Peace University.
Wow.
And so that was kind of like next level. And then we started going through every line item on that budget. We were switching utility companies if they didn't meet what we wanted. We were making all kinds of insurance changes. And it was really, really cool. And we felt in control of our money for probably the first time in our marriage.
How long have you been married?
17 years this year.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. But really, the coolest part for us in this whole journey, I mean, the mortgage was really exciting. But once we got to this point in our journey, God put a ministry opportunity in front of us, and he told us that 2 kids needed to come live with us for a while.
Wow.
And before this process, absolutely, we would have said no to that because we couldn't afford it. But we said yes, and the girls were with us for almost a year. And when they moved back in with their mom is when we really sat down and said, you know what, God put this opportunity in front of us when we got our financial house in order. What happens? What's he going to ask us to do if we pay this house off? What good can we do when that happens? So we sat down and made a plan for it. I think plan number 1 was like, hey, 6 years, let's just put a little bit in a month.
It's a 6-year plan, and I'm not that patient.
So we worked it for a year, and then Jenny said, yes, she's not very patient, and I love her very much. But she said, yeah, what does it take to get through this in a year? And so we did the math, and that's when she started working 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, and we just really got after it. And it was a team effort. I mean, our kids were a big part of it. Usually when one of us was weak and said, hey, I want to go get Chipotle for dinner, one of the kids would say, Dad, is this in the budget? It's, shoot, no, it's not. So we may not have been gazelle intense for that, but we were like wounded gazelle. And so it was awesome. So we got it knocked out at the end of last year, and it's been fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. And the kids, like ours was just to pay off the debt, but our kids, we told them that when it was paid off, we would give them each $20 to go to the grocery store and buy whatever they wanted because we had been on this budget for so long. And so that was their, like, no, we can't do that because we're waiting for this grocery store trip.
You cannot go to Chipotle until I get my 20 bucks. All right.
And nowadays, $20 will buy you 3 pieces of cheese.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but it was a fun celebration when we got to that point. It was awesome.
That's very cool, guys. Very cool.
What's the best marriage disagreement y'all had over the last couple of years?
It's probably been about this budget.
Yeah, and how long it was taking.
Yeah. But it's cool to be on the other side of it. I mean, we still use the budget. We still track it. Just now we're not writing a check out to a mortgage company, which is super exciting for me. I feel like we're writing that check out to us.
You are writing it out to you. You get to keep your money.
That's
What a
right.
Neat idea.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't
very
have to
cool.
wash dogs anymore. That's so fantastic.
I love it.
Oh, you still do? Oh, man. Good for you.
Jenny's a hard worker.
Good for you. It's awesome.
All right. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You paid off your house before you were 40.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big pieces for us is recognizing that the money is not ours. This is God's money that he's entrusted with us. And I think when you have that mentality, you want to do good with it. You want to do the best you can with it. And so that was a really big help, I know, for me. Yeah. And I think the other part for us was when you have a common goal with your spouse, it's pretty incredible. When we started this, I did not expect that Jenny and I would be growing so much closer together. But when you come together in a goal, it's just amazing how you grow in your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Very,
And the grass does feel different.
Yeah.
Nice.
Take your shoes off and walk
We
through the
did.
backyard.
We did.
When there is no mortgage, the grass
It was
feels
winter,
different.
but it still felt
Yeah,
better.
it was cold.
It's amazing to see your 3 kids are still breathing after having been told no for a few years, right? They've
Yes.
made it somehow. They're still
Yep.
clothed. They've got shoes. Their hair is great. Well done, everybody.
Yeah.
You've broken some myths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. Good job. Yeah, there's something about, like you said, when you start realizing you're managing money for someone else, when a person of honor realizes, I have to take care of this for someone else, when I'm managing God's money for him instead of my money for me, it changes because you will do things for other people you wouldn't do for yourself.
Yeah.
You'll sacrifice at a different level, which is it's kind of an interesting dynamic to me. But we had the same exact experience in the Ramsey house. So congratulations, you guys.
Thank
We're very
you.
proud of you. You're rock stars, man. So you've been investing in your 401ks and in your IRAs and your retirement. How much is in there?
I'd say about $330,000 so far.
Okay, so you're going to be 45. You're going to be baby steps millionaires.
Next couple of years, we're watching closely.
Yeah, you're right on track. Way to go, guys. I'm so proud of you. 45-year-old millionaires looking at us. They're not there yet, but they'll be there soon, and with a paid-for house. We've got a copy of the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you because you're on that track for sure. That's the next chapter in your story. And a copy of Total Money Makeover since you gave yours away, and you can now give it away again. This time stir up a ruckus. What are the kids' names and ages?
So we have Nate is our oldest. He's 12. Josh is 10, and Cora is 6.
All right, everybody's looking good. All right, there's the $20 gang right there. That's what we're going to call them. I like it. Tyler and Jenny from Pennsylvania, along with Nate, Josh, and Cora. $102,000 paid off in 26 months. House and everything. We're looking at weird people. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
So great. Awesome.
I love it. About as good as it gets right there, gentlemen. Ladies, that's how it works. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey, personality, is my co-host today. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. Murray is in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Hi, Murray. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dr. John. I appreciate you guys helping me with my question today.
Sure. What's up?
So I have my best friend growing up. He grew up here with me in Pennsylvania. He moved to California. He's been living there for a few years. He is getting married soon, which is very exciting. Naturally, I'm the best man, so I'm pulling together the bachelor party for him out there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be kind of close to LA, so it's pretty expensive. I'm of course, as the best man, I'm covering all the parts for him, for the groom. But I have rented an Airbnb there, which is pretty expensive. A month ago, I got everybody saying that, like the one I chose was a good option. It was this was the last weekend in May, like right before Memorial Day. I just managed to book it. I did front the money for it, and today I got I haven't had anyone pay yet for it, and today I had someone reach out, one of his friends from California, saying like, well, I kind of live close anyway. I'll come hang out with you guys. But I won't stay the night, so therefore I won't have to pay my part for the Airbnb. And now his other friend who's out there, I don't know if they're collaborating, but he's kind of giving the same kind of messages, but hasn't, like he said, he hasn't really decided yet. So I'm just kind of wondering, do I just kind of eat the cost for their portion?
How much is the money?
It worked out to be about $200 a person, including the groom, so I'm covering his part.
So the total out of pocket for you, the total to rent the Airbnb was how much?
It was around $800.
Yeah, and what do you make a year?
So I do have plenty of money to cover it. It's not really as much of a money issue. We together, my wife and I make a little over $150, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, dude, just eat it, and go on with your life. Enjoy the wedding.
I don't know how people are comfortable with not with owing people stuff. I don't know. I think I just need to get over it and just realize they're his friends
or cancel it, man.
Or tell them they can't come if they don't pay.
I mean, you're running the show here. I'm just going to lean into Dave. Push back. I'm just going to lean into what. I'm not going to carry other people's stress, and if I'm going to go to the wedding anyway, and I'm going to plan for a good evening, it stinks, man. But it is what it is.
I might, the most I would ever do is maybe one message back, and I would just say, I booked this based on everyone paying their part. It's disappointing that you won't, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I would shame them a little.
Yeah, here's my Venmo.
Okay.
Here's my Venmo. And then, dude, I'm not going to give it another second thought.
Yeah,
yes,
just move
it stinks.
on.
It's the worst, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you've already stressed more than $800 over it.
Yeah.
And you guys are thinking the same thing, even because we'll be drinking and stuff that night, and not crazy or anything. I mean, I'm like 30, but you know how that is. But like, if
I know some 30-year-olds that can still get after it now. But yeah, I might say, hey, I'm going to cover this or cover. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: make peace with what you want to do. You're trying to make everybody happy here, and at the same time, you have this need that you want met, which is everybody contributing their fair part. And at some point, you have to run up against that fantasy and say, that's not happening. And so, what's the picture of the party that I was asked by the groom to throw? And I'm going to lean into that, and I get to decide who's there and who's not. And, I mean, you get to make all these calls. Make the decision and just move on with your life. You're not going to make everybody happy and have everybody meet all your needs too.
Yeah, I think between her and I, we were like disappointed about everything, but we were kind of leaning towards just like whatever happens. Like I don't want to ruin the groom's time by like telling people they can't come or they can't spend the night.
Just have two different coolers for paid and didn't pay. One of them's going to be full of Capri Suns and one of them's going to be full of really nice drinks.
Okay.
That's what I would do. And there's going to be like 4 hot dogs, and then there's going to be catered food for those who paid. And
filet mignon.
That's right. And hot dogs, right? I mean, you can have some fun with it, man. Just like Dave said it best. All this is a soul tax. That $800, you've put in more than $800 worth of worry when it comes to the balance on your net worth. Let it ride, man.
Yeah, I probably, if it was my buddies or these aren't actually your buddies, they're friends of the groom that are being twerps. They're not your friends. I'd probably just send them a note and say, hey, I booked this on the idea that everybody was going to pay their fair share. If you don't want to, I'm more concerned about the groom's happiness than I am mine or yours. If you don't want to pay your part, that's okay. But I did book it based on your word that you were coming. Yeah. And just leave it at that and, just call their honor out and shame them a little. I would. And
feel free to bring your own drinks.
And then drop it.
Yeah.
And then drop it. And, by the way, it's going to be BYOB for you. So,
exactly.
There you go. No, I'm kidding. I'm done. But you got to, the thing is, you're a person of that values honor. And it's a big deal. These kinds of details are a big deal to you in your personality style and the way you're wired and your upbringing. That's not true for everyone. And when you run into people that it's not, you've got to learn to let them loose because you're not going to change them. Yeah. And you're either going to stir this up and make it a big deal, or you're just going to let it go and it's not a big deal.
Or the third option is you can just choose to seethe, and you're choosing misery when you do that.
Yeah,
and that's just a silly way to choose.
Yeah. Frank's in Akron, Ohio. Hey, Frank, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So I'm a big fan. I read the book Total Money Makeover. I'm going to read Baby Steps eventually, but I have a question today because I have student loans, and I pulled out a mortgage in 2020. And the student loans keep on getting deferred, and they were supposed to be due May 1st, and then they got deferred till September 30th. And I really don't know what Congress wants to do with these loans, and I don't really bank on the federal government, but I'm almost like thinking that this might be one of their things, like forgive one day just to get more votes. So I don't know if I should be paying those right now because there's zero interest, or maybe investing instead. That was kind of my...
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've been doing this a long time, and the number of times I have met someone who was had their life financially changed positively by the people in Washington, D.C. is zero. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you're waiting on your life to be good because of something that they do with the Island of Misfit Toys up there, your life's always going to suck. Because you're always waiting. You're always waiting on them to grow a brain, and they don't have them. They don't have a single brain between all of them put together up there. So it's not going to happen. Listen, the Democrats ran on the idea that they were going to forgive student loans. They're in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they've not presented a single bill for student loan forgiveness. Don't you call BS at this point? I am. And so, no, they're not going to pay them off. They're not going to forgive them, not anytime soon anyway. And you need to get this stuff out of your life as soon as you possibly can. The tragedy is that all these interest payments have been delayed and then delayed and then delayed, and yet 6 out of 10 student loans have not made any payments during this time. Instead of taking advantage of the lack of interest and crushed it, they're sitting back and waiting on AOC to fix their life. And honey, she ain't gonna do it. So no, you need to get this paid off as fast as you can. Anything to add to that?
I've got an unpopular take on this. And it's this. I signed up, my wife and I had to pay off 6 figures of student loan debt. We signed up for a million different loans. But at the end of the day, I looked at somebody and looked them in the eye and shook their hand and said, if you will help me get through school, I'll pay you back. And so I always felt a moral obligation. Now, I know there's people who are tricked. I know there's people who are asked to sign stuff that they don't fully understand. Absolutely, I'm all about taking care of them. But for most of us, we signed our name on the piece of paper. We just didn't do the math. We didn't fully have a picture of what we were going to be asked to do over the next 20 or 30 years. And so I say, don't wait on the government. Do the right thing. You sign your name, pay the stupid things off, and let's get on about your life.
Yeah. Use all these interest rate breaks.
Just burn through the principal.
Some way to burn it up and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Instead of standing back and waiting on someone in the White House to fix your life. Never do that on any subject. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is my co-host.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Dan and Marie are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Honored to have you guys. Where do you live?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Cool. Welcome to Nashville. How much debt have you paid off?
$1,275,384.
Okay, Dee.
That's a heck of a phone bill, you two.
Yes, $1,275,000.
Yes.
Yep. Whew. All right, and but I'm trying to get my speech back here. And how long did this take?
Took 4 years and 9 months.
4 years and 9 months. And your range of income during this time?
Started at $62,000 and ended at $300,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
So we actually have a store called The Yard in Phoenix, Arizona. We're a stone supplier for kitchen and countertops as well as bathrooms. So.
Yeah, okay. Very cool. Good. And so there's got to be a story here, obviously.
Indeed.
Oh, my goodness gracious. What happened and what in the world kind of debt was this?
Well, we're serial entrepreneurs. Dan's owned many businesses since he was 14, and we've owned the yard for 12 years. But in the middle of that, we decided to go open another business. That business took us on a roller coaster ride. It failed miserably. And in 2016, we sold that business, we closed that business. And our other business was hanging on by a thread, never was profitable to that point. And we had $50,000 in personal credit cards, $55,000 in vehicles, $80,000 in personal loans, $930,000 in business debt, and $155,000 was our home.
Wow. So how do you turn this around in 4 years, these kinds of numbers?
Well,
Good question.
Before you answer that, it's important if you're just listening to this. Dan, as she told that story, your eyes went to the floor, your shoulders dropped. I mean, you still feel that, huh?
Absolutely.
Those were dark, dark moments because you knew how much money that was.
Absolutely.
So what inspired the change, and what did you do?
So when we closed the other business, it was really hard. We were emotionally, physically exhausted. Our children were young. And I was at home doing laundry. Our other business was barely hanging on, and we were living off of personal loans and credit cards. And I was listening to a mom podcast, and Rachel Cruz was on that Christian mom podcast featuring her book, Love Your Life, Not Theirs. And I was like, oh yeah, Dave Ramsey, mom and dad taught me about that. And I went online, and we found that you were having a one-day EntreLeadership event in Pasadena, California, which ironically was 5 years ago this past Monday. And we attended that event, and it was like drinking from a fire hose. We realized that we were terrible business owners. We were not strong leaders. We didn't know our numbers. We had donkeys working for us, and we felt like you gave us all these tools in one day, and we were like, oh my goodness, we have to go home and change everything. And it took 6 hours to drive home, and we just talked nonstop, like, oh my goodness, we have to restart everything. We had been business owners for a long time, but it was like we had all these tools now. So that's where we started. That event gave us the hope to say, okay, we can do this. This isn't going to be a lifelong curse for us.
That's amazing.
That's wow. So you just put on the hustle and the grind.
Yeah,
and plowed through it.
We went home and we got rid of everybody, or they self-selected. We started over. We started to learn what the problems were. And it took several months. And then it was like God just turned on the faucet, and he just blessed our business immensely. And we started living how his word told us all along that we didn't pay attention to. And everything changed. Absolutely everything changed.
Powerful. Wow.
Just in time for the whole world to get stuck at home and decide they want to start a remodel project.
You got it.
What a couple of years, right? But, hey, you couldn't have done that if you hadn't have gone through the darkness of the previous few years, right?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. And yet 2020 was probably a banner year, income-wise.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like you're in the plexiglass business or something. Oh, my God.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody loves their countertops.
Man. Yeah, I mean, anything home improvement went bonkers that year. So, yeah, you couldn't find anything because it was just everybody sitting at home and go, I never noticed that before, but I got to fix that, and it just, the home improvement stuff went nuts. Yeah.
So you're staring at $1.2 million. Yeah. How do you head into that darkness?
Well, like Marie said, I mean, for me it was at that one-day event, it was just a mountain that was in front of us, and we had a small shovel. And it was like day by day, it was like, here we go, another shovel. And I'll never forget, Dave, you kind of closed off with that Winston Churchill speech, never give up. And there's so many times I wanted to give up. There were so many times where I had doubt. There were many times that were fearful. But through many friends and our family supported us through this. I'm just humbled by God's goodness and his blessing.
Amen. Amen. That's powerful. That is so powerful. Usually when folks go through, climb a mountain this large, there's periodic, maybe 2 times, maybe once during that time where it clicked and you went, wait a minute, this is going to freaking work? Do you remember when that was?
Well, there was many times when I remember it not working. The first year we paid off, I think, $32,000, which was really hard to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if we continue at this rate, it's going to take us 42 years to pay this off. It feels like it's going to be forever. Yeah. And then I think that we came to Summit when it was held here at headquarters. And we went home. We're like, oh man, how much more do we have? And we did the numbers, and we're like, oh man.
That was 20.
Still a lot. Yeah.
Just the other day, yeah. Okay.
And I don't know. Then it just, the snowball just gained momentum, and we were managing our business much better, which then gave us more, margin. Liquid to be able to pay off the debt. And I remember paying off our house and being like, this doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel real,
But that big honking $900,000 business loan, man, that was the beastie.
Indeed.
And now you don't owe anybody anything.
No.
How does it feel when that check deposits and it's all yours?
It's incredible. Incredible.
Now, if you're listening, Dan's everything changed now. Look at it, man. He's standing tall. Your hands are behind your back now in a bring it on posture. You're smiling. Look at that, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And even just the opportunity to bless our team. We have a team of 24 people that work for us, and so being able to pay them what they're worth, bless them in amazing ways. We weren't able to do that before.
Yeah. And you got ones now that you want to bless.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, it's powerful. I'm so proud of you guys. You're an amazing story. Wow.
Thank you.
Very, very, very well done. Well, we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story, if you're not already past it. And obviously a copy of the Total Money Makeover, too. You brought the kiddos with you. What are their names and ages?
We've got Jacob. He's 16. Julia, she's 14. Ava, she's 12. And Autumn, she's 8.
All right. Very good. Well done, you guys. Beautiful family.
Thank you.
Well done. Man, that's amazing. Well, that's the most debt-free scream that we've had this year. Wow. So we're at $19 million in debt-free screams for the calendar year so far, and you just added another $1,275,000 to it. Rowdy. I love it. All right, Dan and Marie, Jacob, Julia, Ava, and Autumn, count it down. 1.275 paid off in 4 years and 9 months. Let's hear the debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Oh my goodness. This is the Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, it's back-to-back debt-free screams. Landon and Samantha are with us. Where do you guys live?
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Clarksville, just up the road. Very
Yes, sir.
cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a dental hygienist.
Mm-hmm.
And I own my own business.
Cool. Doing what?
Lawn care.
Good
weed
for you.
control.
Excellent, excellent. What kind of debt? How much debt did you pay off?
$401,000.
401. How long did this take?
3 years.
Wow.
401,000?
Yes, sir.
In 3 years. And your range of income during that time?
54,000 to 184,000.
Well, there's a nice jump.
Yes, sir.
You've been pulling a lot of weeds.
Hopefully not.
Somebody has.
She's been pulling a lot of teeth, man.
Well,
Something's going on here. All right, well done, guys. What kind of debt was the 401,000?
35 student loans, and the rest is the house.
You paid off your house.
yes, sir.
Couple of weird people. I love it. What's this house worth?
About 500,000.
Wow, good for you. Well done, guys. How old are you guys?
I'm 31.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 29.
And you have a paid-for house. Did you ever think?
He
You
probably
don't.
did. I did not.
All right, tell us the story. How did this happen in the last 3 years?
Well, we got married, and I've never been in debt besides mortgages. And I had a rental house, too, and it was 2 hours away. And I started getting nervous as far as it taken care of. And once we got married, I said, let's pay off the student loan. And then I didn't think we were going to be able to get the house paid off that quick, but God blessed us with my business. So
I was not on board.
Why not?
Well,
Oh, my parents, and I mean, we just lived life and were able to go and do, and they didn't care whether we had paid off stuff or not. So
all right. So how did you get on board? What happened?
I got stuck on I-65 for 8 hours and listened to your podcast.
Snowstorm, or he just pulled over the side of the road?
No,
and
we were going
wouldn't
to the
drive? Oh, driving to the beach.
Yes.
Okay. We weren't stuck, or
No.
you were stuck in the
I was
car.
stuck in the car
with
for 8
me.
hours.
I got it. Okay, I'm catching on now. Oh my gosh! And at the end of that beach trip, you're like, okay, we'll do
I
it.
know. Well, there was
do it.
no
I
argument, I don't think.
roll. We'll do it. Okay. So did you sell the rental?
Yes, sir.
What did it bring?
185,000.
Okay, so that was almost half of this.
Well, I owed 100,000.
Oh, I apologize.
I profited around
Okay, so
70,000.
So it was a fourth of this then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was the 400 all your mortgage, or did that include that mortgage you paid off with the sale of the rental?
They included all of it.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was 185. 85 moved to your mortgage, and 100 got rid of. So it's 185 of the 400. Was it when that one, with that one move?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Good.
Awesome.
Good, but still 200 grand now, or 250,000 bucks roughly, in 3 years. That's pretty stinking amazing. Well done. Well done. I love it. I love it.
So what was your best disagreement y'all had?
Going out to eat.
I bet y'all had some doozies.
I like to go out to eat.
Oh,
Yeah, that's probably the worst argument. It was like, no, rice and beans, ramen.
Yeah.
That's what I chose.
I never ate lunch in high school just to save my money, so
Oh, you've been a tightwad your whole life.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
He still has clothes from middle school.
So it sounds like cosmically y'all both need each other, right?
Yes, we're very opposite, but needed.
I love
And then we have a baby dude in
Yep.
May.
All right.
Yeah.
5-year-old at home.
I
So.
love it. Oh, very good. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is, Samantha?
Oh, don't go. Well, when people ask you to go out to eat, just don't go. Make sure you bring your lunch. Or your husband will track your location and be like, what are you doing?
Sure looks like you're hanging out in front of a Chipotle.
Probably Mexican. But,
How come your cell phone speaking Spanish?
That's right.
I mean, I don't know.
What do you think,
answer
Landon?
that.
What do you think?
Just getting over yourself, really. You don't deserve that new car if you can't afford it. And just don't worry about what you look like. I could care less if people think I'm broke. I know what my bank looks like, and I don't have to have so much stress, and my family's taken care of.
How's it feel to be completely debt-free, Samantha?
Weird.
Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd do it again?
I would. I was
even
a little
with even with the restaurants, but I'd do it again. Yeah. All right.
What do you think, Landon? What's it like being in a house that you don't owe anybody anything?
It's nice running a business. You sometimes have to do things you wouldn't do, and now I can kind of not have to have so much stress. We're taken care of no matter what.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yes.
The interesting thing is that you don't have to take clients that give you more trouble than they're worth.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of those.
And the net is you end up making more.
Exactly.
It's strange. With a little bit of that desperation gone, your business runs a little smoother. It's on a little better rhythm from strength rather than from desperation, and it just becomes more profitable. It almost always happens that way. Well done, you guys. I'm very proud of y'all. Y'all are neat. You're fun.
Thank you.
Very fun. You did a great job. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. I bet you're already there. Are you, Landon?
Almost. I'll be there before 35.
Okay. All right. He's got it figured out.
He does have it figured out.
It's going to be a 35-year-old Baby Steps millionaire.
Not if she can restaurant her way. She may be 36.
Hey, we're going to eat after this.
That's right.
I've already picked out a Nashville restaurant. I'm just saying. Oh, I love it. Way to go, you guys. Also, a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away and bless somebody and stir up a ruckus in their life. And very, very, very cool. Very well done. All right, Landon and Samantha, Clarksville, Tennessee, $401,000 paid off in 3 years. House and everything, $29,000 and a little bit more. I love it. I love it. I love it. $54,000 to $184,000 income. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
I'm debt-free.
Yeah.
You missed me.
That'll do. That'll do. I love it.
That may have been the greatest debt-free scream that fit the couple the best.
Yeah, that fit the couple the best. That's exactly right.
Perfect.
I like it. Well, it's she's fun because she's authentic.
Yeah.
And given the eye roll.
Yeah.
On stuck on 65 with Dave Ramsey in the car. I can't get out. And yet here we are, $400,000 at 30 years old in zero debt.
Zero.
House or anything. That's pretty stinking powerful. That's a lot of fun. Wow. Very
400. That's $1.6 million paid off in the last 2 debt-free screams. That's a lot of freedom.
That's true. Almost 1.7. Yeah.
Hey, can we poke on something real quick?
Yep.
They mentioned in the last debt-free scream, and I know it's the same here too. Because they don't owe anybody any money, they're able to take care of the people that work for them in a different way. Mm-hmm. Which then ends up blessing their families. Mm-hmm. And it makes their kids go to school with a little bit less stress and helps that teacher out. So if you will, in your home, we get so concerned with how the national, if you will fix your home, the derivative,
the ripple effect,
piece that you pass along is incalculable.
You can follow the math on it. It really does happen.
It's amazing.
It's actually powerful. I mean, how do you how can I be a blessing to a teacher?
Yeah.
Well, send a kid that's not stressed out to school.
Yeah.
Why are they not stressed out? Because my household is being run on a system, and we're debt-free, and mom and dad are in agreement, and we
have boundaries.
We're
The
hitting
kids
achieved
sleep.
goals.
Yeah.
We're not yelling at each other. We're not yelling at the kids.
Yeah.
We're not out of there's mental health all over this, man. Mental wellness all over this. Oh, and by the way, the team, becomes the best place to work.
Yeah.
Because it is the best place to work. Hello.
And people want to do business with you because you tell the truth and you show up and you do good work, and so you make more money. And
because I don't have to put up with your crap if you're one of those other people. I don't have tolerance for you anymore. You keep that out of my life. You bring drama. I don't want drama and crazy. I keep drama. I lock the door that drama and crazy use. I don't want them coming in here.
Take care of what's going on inside your house. Yes.
Changes the whole deal. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. His brand new book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, comes out on Tuesday. We are in the middle of book launch week. 1 week from today it comes out. It'll be mailed to you folks that have pre-ordered it. Thank you to all of you, thousands, tens of thousands of you who have bought this book already. We will be shipping them out promptly, I promise. We are not having any issues. We've got them here in the house. We're ready to go. Everything's happening. John's been doing a ton of media. We're getting emails in while we're on the air today that he and I will be doing appearances. He'll be doing appearances, all regarding this book launch in the next few days, weeks, and months. He did a big one this morning in Dallas with my friend down there, Mark Davis. And that was a live hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure was.
So that's already happened, and good. And so, hey, if you want this brand new book, it's only $20 if you pre-order it. It comes along with the ebook and the audio book as read by the author, and that's a pain in the butt, isn't it?
Oh, man.
That's a hard thing.
It is.
People don't have any idea how hard it is to read a book for 5 hours that you wrote.
It's super
and
meta.
not miss a single word.
Oh, it came out of your head, and now you're reading the word. It's
how many errors did you find while you were rereading it?
Oh, Dave,
I found 3 when I was rereading Baby Steps Millionaire. One of them was bad.
Oh, Dave, we had several that were a lot. We had a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. We had some good back and forth.
I had 3 that were very distinct and made my face turn red. Yeah, and once from embarrassment, once from anger.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, all right. So as too much authenticity here, as read by the author of the audiobook. Oh, and by the way, if you find those mistakes and you need therapy,
that's right. I myself had to reach out.
BetterHelp is going to give you a month of free weekly therapy sessions. And hey, this is a book all about mental wellness. If you go, well, this is a book for crazy people. No, it's not. We're all a little crazy if you're real honest about it. But we've all got stuff that we go, okay, there's a thing in my past there. And if I somehow could put that in a different bucket, I probably could move forward in a different way, a different framework, a different way of looking at it. And Own Your Past, Change Your Future is the framework. It's going to show you how to do it. It's a not so complicated way to do relationships, mental health, and mental wellness. So check it out. You can pre-order it now at RamseySolutions.com. Please go ahead and get it before Tuesday so you get the deals. Also, be ahead, those of you in Phoenix, be marking it on your calendar a week from today, April the 21st. John will be signing books at the Desert Ridge Marketplace on Tatum Boulevard, the Barnes & Noble there. Be sure and head up there and get your book signed by John at 6 p.m. on that Thursday. The following Wednesday, April the 27th, Barnes & Noble in Dallas at the Prestonwood Town Center on Beltline Road, 6 p.m. there. So he'll be out doing media and some speaking events and so forth in those 2 cities, and lots of other things through the coming week as we get this push on this book launch and finish up the marketing process here. But we don't market things around here that we don't know are going to help. This is a transformative book. If you ever wished you had Dr. John Deloney sitting across the table from you, telling you how it is, helping you, being compassionate with you, that's what he's going to do through this book. It's going to be just like he was sitting there. Don't miss this thing. So get it at Ramsey.
The coolest thing that's happened, Dave, over the last few weeks is doing media and having the media personalities or the podcaster write me personally and said, I skimmed through this for the interview. I read it after the interview. And it's become meaningful to them, and that's what they do for a living. And that's been some neat feedback. I can't wait till it gets out into the world.
We were actually talking about that in one of the planning meetings. I was talking to all the personalities, but you in particular, because this book was coming out. I said, if we can write something or do something on the air that the host of the thing is personally touched by or helped by or transformed by, then we know we've got something.
Yeah, that's right.
Because by the way, those people in front of the cameras or microphones, they're like people.
They got kids, and they're trying to figure it out, too.
They got dreams and broken childhoods,
right.
like anybody else does.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. So, open phones at 888-825-5225. Ben is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks so much for all you guys do and all the hope you guys provide.
Thank you.
It. So I'm just started listening to you guys recently. I was gifted one of your books, and now I listen to you guys while driving for about 4 hours a day.
Whoa.
Yeah, reruns usually. But I'm somewhere. I think I'm done with baby step number 1, heading into baby step number 2, which, long story short, I screwed up the first half of my life, and I'm trying to do a big turnaround. I just don't know where to put house repairs because I have several major house repairs coming up.
Major. Okay, give me an example. Give me an example of a major house repair.
I have a hole in my roof that's leaking water into the attic, a small hole. We get bats into our house an average of 1 to 2 times per year, and our HVAC system is about 30 years old. It still works great, but it's 30 years old, and I know I need to plan for it.
What's your household income?
Between me and my wife is $80,000.
That's good news. Okay. And how much debt do you have, not counting your home?
Let's see, total debt, not including the home?
Yes.
So you're looking at the spreadsheet, it includes the home. 137 with the home, and the home is about 85,000. 120 with this.
50 grand and you make 80, so you're going to be debt-free in 2 years if you do what we teach. Okay? Beans and rice and beans. Don't see the inside of a restaurant unless you're working there. Living on a budget. You and your spouse are in agreement. We're selling everything but the kids, and the kids are worried. Okay? And the dog and the cat are on Craigslist. I mean, we're getting this done, right? So I'm kidding. Keep the dog, but
definitely sell the cat, though. Sell the cat.
I've been working on that.
Good. Give the cat away, whatever.
Yeah, pay people to take the cat. But anyway,
not unanimous.
So then, having said that, what you've got to ascertain is what is an emergency and what is impending doom. Impending doom, in your case, is the HVAC system. If we can keep that puppy patched together with duct tape for 2 years and get you out of debt, you'll be able to cash flow a good heat and air system. If you don't, then spend the minimal amount to patch it and let it limp through until you get this 18 months to 2 years to clear the $50,000.
Okay.
And then start talking about saving up the money to replace it. Don't go in debt to replace it under any circumstances.
Be hot. Be hot.
Okay. Buy a fan. Buy a heater. Okay. Whatever you got to do to limp through. I did this. Okay. When the year we went through bankruptcy, the heating and air went out on our house, and I hired a guy for $300 instead of $4,000 to put a used compressor in, and it made it exactly 18 months. That $300 bought me 18 more months, and then I was able to be clear, and I was able to save up and put a good air conditioner, full-on compressor and everything on the back of the house and do it right. I also, oddly enough, had a water leak in the roof the year that we went bankrupt and decided we don't borrow money anymore. The guy came out, gave us a bid for a new roof. It was $8,000. $8,000 might as well have been $8 million because we were so broke we couldn't pay attention. And so I went to the hardware store and got some of that. I got a 5-gallon bucket of that tar stuff and went up there and smeared it on the roof like white trash, and it quit leaking. Quit running. It was running through the light fixture, dripping on the kitchen table. So it's also a fire hazard because it's water running through the light fixture, right? So, but it quit leaking. It looked like crap, but it quit leaking. And again, I made it another 18 months with that ugly roof on there, and the neighbors probably would have called HOA if there was one. And but we got through it, and then we put a roof on it with cash. Now, I don't know what your version of that with the bats is, but that's the way you're going to do it. Something like that. Try to hold on, try to get through with the minimal till you can get debt free and you can pay cash to do the repairs properly. That's how you work them in. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey personality, best-selling author, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is my co-host this hour. This is a very special hour on the Ramsey Show. It is a teacher appreciation hour as we talk about and celebrate Financial Literacy Month this month in the schools, and we appreciate all teachers in the process of doing something about that, and doing something about everything that they do out there. Teachers are absolutely amazing. My grandmother Ramsey was a second grade teacher. My aunt taught until just the other day. She retired after almost 40 years, or maybe over 40 years now. Taught math in the Knoxville public school system. My other aunt taught in the Atlanta school system. My cousin's wife is a teacher. I mean, I've got teachers all over my family. I'm a teacher, actually. I'm just a little weirder and wilder than some of the others. But teachers change the world, man.
Oh, yeah.
And so we love teachers. And financial literacy is absolutely important. John, I'll never forget the first time I had those little blue self-published financial piece books. They were pretty lame. I did sell 35,000.
Those are your words, not mine. Go ahead.
But they are lame. I mean, it's pretty much certifiable. There are facts, and that's a fact. But I did sell 35,000 of them. They were just the same. The words in them weren't lame, but the production of the book itself, all that. But I was one of the first times I went to speak, and I had the books for sale. I would go up front, speak with like an overhead projector and all this stuff, and the book table was at the back with the workbooks, and the books were for sale for $12, and I'd run back there and sell books. And I remember a lady came back there at one of the first breaks where I was talking about getting out of debt and living on less than you make and getting on a budget. And she picked up that little blue book and she goes, "Why isn't this taught in the schools?" I mean, like, that was the first year of me doing this 30 years ago. And I have heard that 25,000 times since, because we've all thought it. Why isn't financial literacy taught in the schools? How is it that you can get out of school and know what the Pythagorean theorem is but can't do a budget? How is that possible? So we started doing something about it several decades ago. We started a high school curriculum with our financial materials. It is now called Foundations in Personal Finance. It has now been taught in almost half of the high schools in America. About 48% of the high schools in America have now taught it. Over 4 million students have already taken these classes. We're now running into 26-year-olds, 28-year-olds that are getting married with no debt, went through college with no debt, and married someone who agreed to be debt-free and stay debt-free so that they can become wealthy because they went through Foundations in Personal Finance in high school. Not because they went through Financial Peace University at 25. Yeah. But because they went through Foundations in Personal Finance, because this should be taught in the schools, and now, by God, it is. If your school wants it, you can get it, and we put it in there. It's that simple. So, and of course, the hinge pin on which all of this spins, the key component, the keystone that allows all of this to happen is called a teacher. All right. Teachers make the world go round. They have a bigger impact on kids than anybody gives them credit for. And in today's world with crazy butt school boards and helicopter parents, I don't know how they do it.
I don't either. I've been a high school teacher and elementary school teacher, my wife too. It's tough, and it has just accelerated. And Dave,
if I was a high school teacher, I would be in jail for murder.
Yeah, but not of your students, of protecting them from the crazy adults in their lives.
Take out one of the administrators or the parent. I just take them out.
The few teachers I've talked to personally, it seems like this becomes a mission for an individual teacher. They often bring it to the school and say, this is important, this is important. And
the financial literacy piece.
Financial literacy, and they champion it, yeah. But, yeah, being a teacher these days is tough.
Well, it's critical, and we're at we're approaching a crisis point in 2 or 3 segments of our culture that are some of the most important glue that hold our culture together. Yeah. We're losing healthcare professionals, pastors,
Police officers
and teachers
walking away. And if you look at faith,
all because of the COVID ridiculousness,
safety, education, those are pillars.
Because of the political stuff that has gotten involved in them simply executing their jobs and doing the things they're supposed to do, and they're underappreciated.
Yeah.
So on behalf of the teachers, we are we are calling touchdown right here. We're saying you rock, and we're here to this hour just to appreciate you and to talk to a few of you. Yeah. So we've reached out to talk to some of the teachers that have been teaching the high school curriculum, the Foundations in Personal Finance, and that includes Karina Ford, who is a high school teacher at Rusk High School in Rusk, Texas. Is that right, Karina?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very cool. Thank you for coming on with us. How long have you been teaching?
This is my 16th year as a teacher, and this is the first time I've ever taught your course and taught economics.
Wow. Okay. How's that going?
It has been life-changing for some, and then some kids I look and think, I wish you were listening to me.
So basically like me and Dave's job every day, right?
Yes.
So how big is this high school? How many kids are there?
We have about 600 kids in our high school. As far as Texas high schools go, it's considered a 4A.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So this is a public school then? All right.
Yes, sir.
And so you're teaching this in a so what age group are you teaching? Juniors and seniors or what?
Just seniors, and we do economics from January to May.
Okay. And woven into that is Foundations in Personal Finance.
That is our entire economics course this year.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, we also heard that you had a question. What is it?
My question is, I have students who do have money in savings accounts, but they found out that money is not really growing. It's growing at like 0.05%. So they're getting a penny every few months. Where can I tell these 18-year-olds to a better place to put their money where they see a little bit more return on it versus a penny every few months?
Well, the risk that goes with it might not be worth it, but you could go with just an S&P 500 index fund, just to park some money in a mutual fund for a period of time. The risk is that it could actually go down in value, right?
Okay.
If the stock market goes down, it could go down. And so that's generally why I tell people not to do that in these situations. I would rather them use this money on some form of education.
Okay.
The best investment these kids can make is in themselves. If they study something, use money to go to some kind of school, trade school, college, whatever, to study something that's actually usable in the marketplace, the actual return on investment, you spend $10,000 on education or you put $10,000 in a mutual fund, the actual math that you get back from the $10,000 will be greater if it's on education that is usable, that has a utilitarian value in the marketplace. Hey, thank you, Karina, for teaching this. We appreciate you. That's what we're here for this hour. It's a Teacher Appreciation Financial Literacy Month theme hour. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. in honor of Financial Literacy Month and our high school curriculum taught in about half the high schools in America, we are doing a teacher appreciation giveaway this month. And we're appreciating teachers on the air this hour as well. Now, the teacher appreciation giveaway works like this. We're giving away $5,000 to 2 different teachers in cash. And you do not have to be a teacher that teaches our stuff. You just have to be a teacher. No, like a real teacher, not like you taught your dog to sit. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to be like teaching in a classroom and stuff. And if you're doing that, then we're gonna say yes, you're like a real teacher, and we're gonna let you sign up for the drawing. No purchases necessary. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher, RamseySolutions.com/teacher, and don't miss out. This giveaway ends on April the 30th. So you've just got a few more days to get signed up for that. And if you know a great teacher out there that you've loved, get in touch with her, get in touch with him, and tell them to make sure to run over to RamseySolutions.com/teacher and register for this free giveaway. They may be one of the teachers that wins the $5,000 cash. So up next is going to be Wendy. Wendy is a teacher in Wisconsin, and she's been teaching our high school curriculum as well. Hey, Wendy, how are you?
Good, thanks. It's a pleasure to talk with you gentlemen today.
You too. And so where do you teach? Which school?
I teach at Sheboygan South High School in Wisconsin.
Great. Very cool. How many students are enrolled there?
Oh, I think it's probably about 1,100.
Okay. Very cool. How long have you been teaching?
27 and a half years.
Well, you've seen some changes.
I definitely have. Definitely.
Some of them good, some of them bad.
Yeah, what's the biggest change you've seen working with young people? 27 years.
Definitely some good, some bad. Probably the biggest challenge is the many different challenges that our students come to us with, very complex home and family situations, but also the digital challenges. Our children today are growing up in a digital world that we did not grow up in.
That's right.
Very true.
And we've got to figure out how to navigate that, how to guide them, how to parent in that world. It's a very different world than we were raised in.
That's right.
True. That's very true. Yeah, there's the pre-television generation, the post-television generation. There's the pre-smartphone generation, the post-smartphone generation, and it's a lot of it is a blessing and a lot of it is a curse.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're the Netflix and live streaming generation. I mean, they don't turn on the TV like we did.
No, they don't. They don't need to. They just when they want to see something, it's there.
Right.
It's on demand. And so that's the way all of us are now, but most of us just didn't realize it happened. It's native to them. They've never known anything else. So how long have you been teaching our high school curriculum, Foundations in Personal Finance?
Well, I think it's been about 10 or more years. A number of years ago, you hosted a teacher training institute, and I was fortunate to travel there with another teacher and be trained on site with your folks there at Ramsey Solutions.
Wow. Okay. I remember doing that. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, it was wonderful.
That's been a while back. We ought to do that again. That's good.
Yeah, you ought to do it again.
So did you have a question today as well?
I do. As a teacher and honestly as a parent myself also, I'm caught in a bit of a dilemma with the young people I work with every day. I definitely want to inform them about all the great digital tools, the apps, the things they can use conveniently through their smartphones to help them manage their finances. But as I do this, I find myself in a bit of a dilemma, struggling with the gap that we're creating for these kids in terms of helping them understand the tangible immediacy of cash. They're not using cash. They're not getting a paycheck and cashing it. They're not going to pay for their gas with cash. They don't have access to cash in the same way we grew up. And so how can I balance that for them when it's not in their hands like it was for us?
I always want to roll back pedagogically. When I'm thinking about how can I teach somebody, I always want to, how can I turn this into something they can touch with their hands, how they can see it, right? And so I think something that's important for kids, they've become untethered to the reality of money. right? That I love the way you put that. I used to have to go cash a check, and I would hold the cash, and then I have to hand that to somebody to get the thing. They don't have that exchange anymore, and so they become untethered from reality. In the same way, they've become untethered with violence and with sensuality, because I can just see it and see it and see it and see it and see it. So I would love to create a classroom environment that is tethered in reality. We are only going to operate with cash in this class, and you have to give that cash to somebody else. And so I'm going to take every opportunity pedagogically to re-ground them in human connection. Nope, we're going to practice how economics works, and you've got this money, and that person has something you want, and we're going to learn about supply and demand, but you have to get up and go across that room and breathe that air and hand them that cash, right? I'm going to get that basic, because they're getting the high-level stuff digitally. They are just becoming increasingly untethered from reality, right?
Yep. I think that's a great solution. So having sort of a token economy within the classroom with maybe some Dave cash.
Yeah, or something.
But I do think that's a great idea.
The visual aspect of that changes it. And then I think you teach I think you end up having a lesson on the digital world. And that Facebook friends aren't real friends.
Yeah.
Virtual means sorta.
Yep.
Snapchat exchange is not a conversation.
It doesn't mean real. It means virtual. It's not real. Virtual is not real. And so when they say virtual reality, it's an oxymoron.
Yeah. It means almost.
Absolutely.
And
not
so,
quite. Yeah.
And so and the same is true. So the beauty of the digital is it's highly efficient. It's quick. It's easily accessible. It's convenient. And the downside of it is you don't feel it, whether it's relationships or whether it's money.
And I want them to feel it. I want them to feel that negative feeling that prevents them from overspending. That, I've got this cash in my hand and I really don't want to let go of it.
Exactly.
But if they go to McDonald's drive-thru and try to pay with cash, they're asked, do you want to use your app today?
Yep.
And here's another place I would send them. George Camel, our friend George Camel, did I think it was a 9-part series on his podcast.
The Fine Print.
The Fine Print podcast that is appropriate for their age, but it talks about here's why airline points, credit card points aren't that great. Here's why this particular thing. Here's why it sounds so good to get Bitcoin. Here's why that's not a good idea. And it's something that they're hearing about all the time in a medium that they are hearing about. And so it will make you of course, you're way more hip than me and Dave, but it will make you be hip, and you'll be able to pass along something to them in a medium they can understand. And what I've seen with young people is they get fired up when they realize they're getting taken advantage of. Or they get fired up when they realize, my points are coming on the back of somebody who can't make their payments. And you galvanize the justice here, and then they're ready for a conversation about here's how cash works. Here's reality, right? And so I would point you to the Fine Prints. 9 episodes, it's great, but it's a tool that it can be used.
And all of these ideas kind of fall in the same bucket, but one last one, and it's we're doing a lot of teaching on it. It's going to show up in a new lesson that John and George did in Financial Peace University here in the spring, this idea of friction, the more clicks you have to do, the harder the movement is inside of an app or inside of a website, the more sales go down. So the easier it is, the more sales go up. And teach them that companies are spending tens of millions of dollars to make it easier and easier and easier for them, because that company is going to get more and more and more of their money. And that's all a McDonald's or a Taco Bell app or a Dunkin' Donuts app is. You can order the donuts. They'll be sitting there on the counter. You don't have to stand in line. It's easier. It's easier. It's easier. It's easier. Why? Because their sales go up every time it's easier. And so it's a manipulation is what it is. And it's perfectly fine. But if you know it's there, but if you're 16 years old and you just think it's cool, then you're going to fall right into the bear trap. So, hey, thank you for being one of the best teachers in America, Wendy.
Grateful, Wendy.
We appreciate you. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. It is a Teacher Appreciation Hour during Financial Literacy Month. This hour, we're talking with teachers and crowing about teachers and bragging on teachers. We love teachers, and we love what they do. We think that they change the world. We know that they change the world. So we're taking questions from a few of them. Our high school curriculum, Foundations in Personal Finance, is taught in about 45% of the high schools now, 48% of the high schools in America. It has been taught in that many, and man, it's absolutely about 4 million kids have now graduated from it. It's been a fun ride. Been a really, really, really fun ride. So we thank you for that. Our documentary, Borrowed Future, on student loan debt, the epic failure of the student loan system, the dark side, is the sponsor of our Teacher Appreciation Giveaway. We're giving away $5,000 to 2 lucky teachers. They will be drawn randomly from the list of teachers that register on our website for this free giveaway. No purchase is necessary. If you know a teacher or you are a teacher, a real teacher like in a classroom teacher, go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher. And you can get signed up for the Teacher Appreciation Giveaway. You do not want to miss it. So, John, I'm guessing that probably in class at 13 years old, you were an absolute terror.
Dude, I was a joy. I was calm. I was a mess, man. I was a mess. As my wife tells me, John, you're a lot. I think my 13-year-old teachers would tell me, yeah, I was a lot, man. I was a lot.
Well, they just called it hyper.
Yeah.
When I went to school. That was 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They just hyper.
Well, and Coach, that hovered over me in a way that it doesn't for young people today. The choir director or the math teacher would say, if we can't sit still, I'm going to have to let Coach know so he can help take care of this. And that straightened us up real quick.
The strange irony is I end up in talk radio where actually not talking is not a good thing. Dead air. If it gets real quiet right here, right now, it's not a good thing.
Yep.
In radio. You're supposed to keep the air full. I kind of had the same mindset, though, in the 8th grade.
There is not a single teacher I've ever had who, when they found out I work in radio, go, yeah, I can see that.
I'm
not one
shocked.
has said, "Really?"
I'm shocked. You were such a wallflower.
Such a cool. Yeah. No, that has never happened. No, I was a mess.
Every
man.
report card ever went home to the Ramsey parents said Dave talks too much.
Oh, good
Dave
grief.
can't sit still. So yeah, so we're those teachers' worst nightmares. So we have to stop now as adults and go thank you.
Can I tell you this though? The teachers, and again, I know I sound like an old man. Like back in my day, I had to go uphill both ways. I feel like teachers, when I was in school, had the flexibility both in the curriculum and in outcomes, and my parents were parents who they trusted the teacher before they trusted me, right?
100%. They were the opposite. I would say opposite of a helicopter.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know.
A roto-rooter.
Yes.
I don't know. A hedgehog. I don't know. My parents were hedgehog parents. I don't know. They just assumed that whatever happened was my fault.
Yes, prove me otherwise. But I felt that they had the opportunity to channel that energy and channel that. They could see that I wasn't a bad kid. They could see that I had good ideas. But hey, let's push it this way. And I'm sitting here today because teachers invested in me outside of the traditional learning classroom. Outside of, like, they would call me to their office. They'd have conversations with me. I'm here because teachers invested in me, man, and my college professors too. It's neat to look back on a group of people and say everything in my life is because y'all. Y'all invested in me. It's cool. It's awesome.
Amen. We were at a dinner party at our house a little while back, and around the table were very successful people in politics and music and whatever. And we started talking about teachers, and every one of them, I said, everybody tell me your favorite teacher. No one could. They all, 40 years ago, all had teachers and name after name after name after name, and they couldn't choose their favorite. It's like trying to choose your favorite movie or favorite song. There's too many options. It's too broad. And they all knew their names. They could tell you stories from the 8th grade. They were just as clear. The pictures, the painting was in high HD. Yeah. And that's the impact that these teachers have. And so we love you guys out there, and that's what we're doing. We're honoring you today. Tom is one of the teachers of our high school curriculum, and he is in New Hampshire. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
So where do you teach?
I teach in Londonderry, New Hampshire.
All right. And what age group do you teach?
It's a high school program, 9 through 12.
Okay. And how many kids are in this high school?
Yeah, about 1,400, a little over 1,400 kids.
Oh, wow. Okay. How long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching 45 years. I've been in this school 44.
Wow. You've broken
I got hired
some
when
records.
the school opened, and I was like a second-year teacher, and I've been here ever since.
You know where all the bodies are buried in that school, don't you?
And then some.
Yes.
And some of the other schools, too, yeah.
Wow, what a gift. Hey, what a gift of stability in the last several years with
So
so
you've
much
taught some of your kids'
teacher mobility.
Oh,
yes.
a lot of my kids. I have plenty of kids who I've had their parents, it's been a blessing. To be in this environment. The administration is great. The teachers I work with are amazing. I've just been blessed to have this opportunity to end up where I ended up.
Amen. So you got a question today?
I do. First of all, I'm a shop teacher by trade. That's what I teach for all these years. But I went through FPU. I've taught financial peace, or I ran it, did the program. And now I'm teaching it at the high school level because I did the same thing you were talking about earlier. These kids need to know this. And I'm teaching in a program that we have here. We call it Adult Ed. It's really an alternative education program. It's after school for kids who can't make it in the regular school day. So a lot of these kids have been tossed out or have trouble staying in class or staying focused and that kind of thing. The issue that I have is that it's a shortened amount of time that I have with them as opposed to a regular school day. I have them for an hour and a half for 2 days a week for 14 weeks. So I have to take the program and trim it down.
Sure.
And kind of rifle through it and pick the most important topics to cover. We covered debt and budgeting and all the the key things. And I don't have time to do any of the activities. So it's the trick is trying to keep them focused. I had a discussion with them today. I just had them this afternoon. And
so your question's what?
The question is, how do I get these kids to relate better? I've trimmed out as much as I can, but I'm almost afraid I'm almost trimmed too much sometimes. One of the things you always say is, you have to get to a point where you say, I've had it and I can't do it anymore. That's what makes people change. Well, these kids haven't had enough experience sometimes to get to that point, and they say, oh, this is nice stuff, this makes sense, but I asked them today, I said, how many of you have a budget? And only one kid in the class is working on a budget. And how many of you have an emergency fund? 2 of them have an emergency fund.
So here's the entry point into those kids' hearts and minds that are struggling during the regular school day so much they got to come in the afternoon. The key to their ability to learn is trust in a stable adult. And one of the greatest gifts you can give them as a classroom teacher is to look at them and say, I believe in you and I trust you and I love you.
It's not the content.
It is creating a world where they plug in and say, okay, I trust this guy and he makes me feel safe. In fact, he's the only guy in my world that makes me feel safe. Tell me more. And then you teach them, maybe you pull a concept out and teach them how to budget, right? And sometimes we get so concept heavy or theoretical heavy. Teach that kid how to budget. Make sure they don't leave your class without a budget. Make sure they see your budget up on the blackboard. They know how much you make. You're a teacher. Let's make this personal. Let's get them that personal touch, that personal impact, and then you're going to see some major changes in those kids' lives.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah. They're going to some of the teachers we were just talking about before we picked up the call, I don't necessarily remember the content that they taught me. What I remember is that they cared.
That's right.
And they deeply impacted me because of that. This is The Ramsey Show. scripture of the day as we head into Easter weekend, John 3:16 and 17. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Clarence Hall said, if Easter says anything to us today, it says this: you can put the truth in a grave, but it won't stay there.
Whoa, I never heard that one before.
It's pretty good.
Huh.
That one, that's a good one.
Wow.
Powerful stuff. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey Personality is my co-host this hour. We are featuring our Teacher Appreciation Giveaway, sponsored by the Borrowed Future documentary, exposing the dark side of the student loan industry. Be sure and check it out. If you are a teacher or you know a teacher, please send them to RamseySolutions.com/teacher to register for our Teacher Appreciation Giveaway in honor of Financial Literacy Month. And 2 teachers will win randomly, no purchase necessary, a $5,000 cash gift each. And we invite you to send your favorite teacher or teachers that are maybe your second or third favorite over to RamseySolutions.com/teacher and get them signed up. Our high school curriculum has now been taught in 48% of America's high schools, and over 4 million kids have been through it. And it's as a result of wonderful, fabulous teachers like Susan. And Susan Everhart is a teacher in Ohio, and she's on the line. Hey, Susan, thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, what high school do you teach in?
I teach at Wadsworth High School in Wadsworth, Ohio.
Okay. And where's Wadsworth? What's it near?
We're kind of in the Medina area.
Oh, yeah.
South of Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. How many kids in the school?
We have about 1,400, 9 through 12.
Man.
Getting after it.
Big operation. How long have you been a teacher?
I have been teaching for 20 years. This is my 20th year.
Wow. And how long have you been teaching foundations in personal finance?
This is my second year teaching the foundations curriculum. So
Great.
Still relatively new with that, but I'm loving it.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for being a high-quality teacher, and thank you for teaching our curriculum. We appreciate you. So you had a question for today.
I do. With being in such a big high school and the kind of different socioeconomic levels of my students, I have anything from, kids that want for nothing to kids that don't have much of anything to want for. What advice can you give on how to make kind of the content and the curriculum really connect to every kid, no matter what their socioeconomic level may be?
I'm going to go back to the same answer I gave the last one. They're not going to understand abstract numbers sometimes. Some of the kids may understand $1 million is what my dad makes every year, and other kids may understand $1 million is some number they see on a game show, right? So it's hard for many high school kids even to conceptualize. I want them to get to know each other, and I want to get them to get to know the humanity of the people behind these dollar amounts, right? Or behind some of the big flashy things or the hand-me-down clothes. I want them to know each other and then be able to engage in this material. And I would challenge you to not teach the principles differently to those with less and those with more. The principles are the principles are the principles. And once they know each other and they have a context for each other, then everybody's learning the same stuff together.
That's great advice. I love that.
Yeah, and I think the thing I always want to give to kids that are not coming up in a household where everything is provided, it's a tough situation, is I want to show them evidence that people like them become millionaires.
Give them a picture.
Yeah. And show them evidence, stuff like the Baby Steps Millionaires book, and because the information in that is a whole host of people that become millionaires did not start from any kind of privilege. They literally started with no money, but even then they started a lot of times with no privilege or limited privilege. Now, everybody has a different starting line, but it doesn't matter what the starting line is. All that matters is what the finish line is. And so I want to give them hope. And then the kids that are sitting in, I don't like the word privilege in this current environment, but because it's misunderstood but the kids that are sitting in a situation where everything's given to them or where they don't have a worry in the world, what I do want them to have one worry, and that is if they don't go do it themselves, it's not going to happen. And so the disadvantage that they have is that they may think it's going to be automatic, and it's not. It being success. Okay? And so I always want to disturb those that are comfortable and give hope to those that don't have it. And
that's awesome.
On both ends of the socioeconomic spectrum. So, whether I'm speaking in a homeless shelter or I'm speaking in a church with a parking lot's full of Mercedes, I'm going to craft my message one of those ways. And because I want to disturb and make the comfortable uncomfortable for their own good, because that comfort will be your destruction. And or keep you from being all you're supposed to be in God's eyes, and the hopeless, if they don't go move towards success because they don't believe it can happen, then that's where we failed them. We didn't tell them it could happen, and that's the reason I did this last book. I really didn't have another book on my agenda for the next 5 years, but Baby Steps Millionaires. I just got tired of the hope stealers out there telling people it couldn't be done.
Dave, that's a way better answer than one I gave. I love that because you're providing a picture of a kid who, like, hey, many of the NFL football players who sign these $1 million deals wind up broke. Here's a picture of that. And hey, kids, here's what it takes to become a millionaire, and you can do it too. Even though your parents haven't shown you that picture, your grandparents didn't show you that picture, I'm going to give you a picture of that. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, you're the secret sauce in both of those equations.
That's right.
You're the secret sauce. You're the secret sauce. You're the problem. You're the solution. You're the problem. You're the solution.
Love it.
Andrew's also a teacher. He's in Pittsburgh. Andrew, thank you for teaching our stuff as well, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you. How are you?
Great, man. How long have you been teaching foundations?
This is my 10th year.
Cool. All right. I'm up against the clock, so right quick. Thank you for that, by the way. That's unbelievable. What's your question for John and I?
My question is, in just some background context, I'm always using supplemental information, whether it be the journal, to use a story about insurance. I just used your book the past couple weeks, got my hands on it. You guys use on a daily basis to reinforce your beliefs and everything that you teach in terms of whether it be investing or insurance or financial services.
I'm a big believer in Charlie Munger's philosophy, which is before I develop a position, I need to know my opponent's position better than they do. And so I spend a lot of my energy reading things that might go against what I think, because I want to know what the other folks are saying about things. So that being said, I wouldn't do that to a bunch of middle school and high school kids. I would probably push them to learn more about why they make the decisions that they make, why they why they default to this or to that. How do they learn about how their families work and what messages, what stories were they born into, what stories were they told? Because that's going to frame a lot how they do money. What do you think, Dave?
There's a lot to be said for not being in an echo chamber and just sitting and listening to people that think just exactly like you all the time, or reading things that people think just like you all the time. That's a dangerous thing. The problem with getting outside of that and searching out your opponent, like John's saying, is you have to be careful to not pollute your mind with trash.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a reason I disagree with them, and they're wrong.
Hashtag that's America, everybody.
So you have to temper that with a little bit
with
of
wisdom. That's
moderation.
Right. That's right.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.